everyone, this is Elisa from Anaya's Toolbox Crochet, and I'm here to talk to you about hook size. Now, how does hooks affect the size of your amigurumi project? And here I have 4 octos, and I'm going to put them in order right here. So there's 4 octos. The pattern, by the way, is by Rel from the Dabbling Hook, and it'll be linked down below. Anyways, I have 4 octos. Now, these are small projects, so understand that when you have a bigger project, the differences will be more dramatic. I used a 3.25 millimeter hook with this. Oh, by the way, this is all big twist value. That's the only yarn I used, big twist value. So every single one of these are made with the same yarn, different colors, but the same yarn. Big twist value, which is a Joann's blend of yarn, and it is a 4-weight yarn. So my usual is 3.25. So I normally, although I'm trying to change that, use a 3.25 millimeter hook with a 4-weight yarn, which is this one right here. This is my usual. This is the size I usually get if I were making an octo. I tried to maintain the same tension. What I did with all of these was I worked up the top of the body for each one. Then I worked up the bottom of the body for each one. And then I worked up the legs for each one, just to make sure that I had the same tension. So I'm going to tell you the difference between this. Like, really, the only difference between these octos are the hook size I use. The pattern is the exact same. The yarn is the exact same, just in different colors. The only difference is the pattern, the hook size. So this one right here, I used a 3.25 millimeter hook, and it turned out to be 5.6 centimeters tall. Now, for those of you who use inches, I apologize. I chose to use centimeters because centimeters are smaller units and you get more exact measurement. But also, I'm from Canada, centimeters make more sense to me. But just in case you guys were wondering how many inches that is, it is a little over 2 inches. Right? A little over 2 inches. It's around there. Okay. Now, these octos are pretty much the same size. It's not very dramatic, the size difference. But if you were to make a bigger project, these are all small projects, obviously, they all fit in frame. But if you were to make a bigger project, these size differences will make a difference. So this is my second octo. I used a 3.5 millimeter hook for this. So, oh, by the way, this is D for those who use letters, and this is an E hook, 3.5 millimeter hook. And this one turned out to be 6.5 centimeters, a whole centimeter bigger. I tried to, like I said, I tried to keep the same, I tried to keep the same tension. And I did that by, making them up in parts at the same time. This, like I said, with inches, it's harder, right? You don't get as much of a thing. So this is 3.5 millimeter hook, and it's a 6.5 centimeter tall. This one is with a 3.75 millimeter hook, and it is 6.7 centimeters tall. Not a big difference between these two. And this last one is a 4 millimeter hook, and it is 6.8 centimeters tall. Again, not a very big difference. But again, keep in mind, these are smaller projects. This is a very, very small project. And when you are working with a bigger project, it will make a bigger difference. So I'm just to let you know how much bigger it is. Between these two, which is a 3.25 and a 3.5 DE hooks, it is 1.16% bigger. This one is 1.16% bigger. Between this one and this one, which is, oh, on the camera, I think maybe because this is a darker color. This looks bigger on the camera, but this one is just a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is a 3.5 millimeter hook, and this is a 3.75 millimeter hook. And the difference between this is 1.03%. And this is, again, 3.75 and a 4 millimeter hook. And the difference between these two is 1.21%. So this one is 1.21% bigger than this one. So if you're planning to make like a project that's going to be like 8 inches and you decide, maybe I'll change it to a bigger hook. I can't tell you exactly how much it'll be, but if the project is 8 inches using a 3.25 millimeter hook and you decide to use a 3.5 millimeter hook, it's going to be about, I don't know, 8 inches is, I have everything in centimeters and I'm saying it in inch. Okay, so say it's 8 centimeters. No, 8 centimeters is tiny. Let's say it's 15 centimeters big. And then you decide to change to a 3.5 millimeter hook from the 3.25, it's probably going to add a couple of centimeters. Like it'll probably be around 17 centimeters big. So that does get bigger. So you do get a bigger project, but you're not going to have like a huge, huggable, snuggly project using just hook size as a bigger hook size. You're not going to get a huge snuggly project when it's meant to be held in your hand. The difference between these two, which is 3.25 and this is 4 millimeters, is 1.21%. So this is 1.21% bigger. So you will get a bigger toy if you change your hook size, which is what I've been doing, but it won't be dramatically different. Like you won't get a small toy and be able to make it huggable just by changing the hook size. You will have to get to a bigger yarn size for that, for sure. But I just thought I'd show you the difference. Now, I am a tight crocheter, so my measurements may be different than yours. You might decide to do the same experiment that I did, and you might get octos that are a little bigger, and that's okay. I am a tight crocheter. Also, you might decide to use a 4 and see the stuffing. As soon as you see the stuffing, it's time to stop experimenting, because if you can see the stuffing, then your hook size is way too big. With these, I have none of them are, the stuffing is showing. The hook sizes are fine for all of them. Although I prefer the look of the tighter stitches, this is perfectly fine too. I mean, this might look a little better to me, but this looks pretty good too. There isn't too much of a difference. So me changing from a 3.25 to a 4 is not going to be crazy different. I have not made a big project with a 4 millimeter hook yet. The biggest I made was with a 3.75, but I might try a 4 millimeter hook next time I need to make it. But I really wanted to tell the difference between the hook sizes, and so I decided to try this experiment. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. I hope you liked this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to hear more from me, please subscribe. Bye!